One day, a man stood up and asked Jesus a question. He was a lawyer, someone who studied God's laws carefully. His voice was curious but cautious. "Teacher," he said, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus smiled gently and replied, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" The man answered confidently, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus nodded, pleased. "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But the man, still searching, asked one more question. "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus looked at him, then began to tell a story. There was once a man traveling the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. It was a dry, rocky path, winding through hills and wilderness. The journey was long and dangerous. As he walked, trouble came. A group of robbers surrounded him. They stole from him, stripped away what he had, and left him by the side of the road, alone, silent, desperate for help. Time passed. A priest came walking down the same road. He saw the man lying there, but he kept walking. He crossed to the other side and continued on. Then came a Levite, another respected man, someone who worked in the temple. He too saw the man, and he too walked away. Two people of faith, chose not to stop. But then, a Samaritan came traveling along the same road. Now, in those days, Jews and Samaritans didn't get along. They lived separate lives, kept separate customs. Some even looked down on each other. But when this Samaritan saw the hurt man lying in the dust, he didn't hesitate. His heart was filled with compassion. He rushed to him. He knelt down. He gently cleaned the man's wounds using oil and wine, whatever he had with him. He tore strips from his own cloth to bandage them. Then, carefully, he lifted the man and placed him on his own donkey. And he walked beside him, leading the animal step by step until they reached a nearby inn. At the inn, the Samaritan stayed the night. He cared for the man, making sure he was comfortable. The next morning, before continuing on his journey, he handed 2 silver coins to the innkeeper. "Please," he said, "take care of him. And if you spend more than this, I'll repay you when I return." This wasn't a small act of kindness. This was deep, generous love. Jesus looked back at the lawyer who had asked, "Who is my neighbor?" And he asked him, "Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who was attacked?" The lawyer replied, "The one who showed him mercy." And Jesus said, "Go and do the same." This story isn't just about the past. It's about us today. Being a good neighbor doesn't depend on where someone's from or whether we know them. It's about seeing someone in need and choosing to care. Sometimes the most powerful kindness comes from the most unexpected places. So the question still remains, who is your neighbor? And maybe the better question is, who can you be a neighbor to today? Be like the Samaritan. Be the difference. Be the one who chooses compassion.